I'm Peter Shaughnessy. I work at Samsung and I work in the web browser team, SamsungInternet, and I'm a developer advocate, so I get to go around and speak to developers about what they can do with web technologies.
So how did it come that you're here today?
Thankfully, it's through Jan, who is from Zollhof. Originally, I met him in London at a tech festival called the Mozilla Festival, and we met there, and he spoke to me about Nuremberg WebWeek, and through him I arranged to speak here and also at the hackathon tomorrow, so it's exciting to be here.
So what are you going to see here? You said you're going to see the hackathon. What else? What are you interested in?
Well, I'm interested in virtual reality, of course, and I've heard there is an exhibition on, so I'm hoping I can drop into that as well as attend the hackathon and help the people there too.
I think a lot of people heard about virtual reality before, of course, but what is WebVR exactly?
So WebVR, basically it combines virtual reality and the web, and it enables us as web developers to create virtual reality applications. And essentially WebVR apps are just websites, so you can share them just as easily as you could share any website just by sending someone a link. And the great thing is then you can click on that link and you don't even have to have a virtual reality headset to hand. It can work in your 2D on your browser fine if you don't have a headset. But then if you do have a headset, and whichever headset you have, WebVR is cross-platform, so then it can work across these different headsets too. So I think it's pretty neat.
But how did you get to work with WebVR?
Thankfully, I've actually been involved in WebVR for a couple of years now, since when it was first being created by people at Google and Mozilla, for example. And I first started when I worked in an education company, and we were exploring uses for virtual reality in education, and I think there's a big application there, big potential there for creating simulations and training experiences for creating scenes that might be dangerous to replicate in real life, like fires and things like that. And you have a good chance in virtual reality to train yourself in how to deal in those situations appropriately.
In the future, how do you expect it to develop?
So I think what I've seen over the last couple of years is the amount of attention on virtual reality, of course, but also WebVR increasing a lot. And so I think it's really getting to this stage where people are taking it seriously. I think over the next few months, we'll see more browsers having it enabled by default. And I think we'll start to see some more really cool examples that people love and share, so I think it would get a lot more attention. And then beyond there, I think there's also really interesting potential for mixed reality experiences as well on things like the HoloLens, so I think it'll be interesting to see how that goes too.
What is the most impressing or the most exciting thing you ever did with WebVR?
So I'll say a couple of things, I guess. So most exciting thing that I shared today, I think, hopefully, was my colleague Ada's demo, where everyone joined in virtual reality and they were all connected to each other in this same scene. So when you loaded it up, then you popped up in this virtual environment and people could see each other's characters in the scene. So I think that's exciting for seeing how virtual reality can actually bring people together, potentially from across the world, and help people to collaborate. Personally, I think something I did that was interesting is I made a demo for, as I mentioned earlier, fire safety scene, and this used the leap motion which detects your hands, so you could see your hands in the 3D scene and you could use it to pick objects up like a fire extinguisher and use it to train yourself.
Thanks a lot for the interview. I wish you a very pleasant stay here in Nuremberg and at the WebWeek.
Thank you very much, it's great to be here. Thanks, good to meet you.